Welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Pastor Rick Yutzy from Maranatha Community Fellowship in Plain City, Ohio. A couple weeks ago, on September 17th, there was an event at the Ohio State House called An Appeal to Heaven. And it's where Janet Porter and some organizers got people together to pray for the heartbeat bill, which is a bill that's hopefully passes in Ohio that actually ends abortion. And when I went to that event, and I went there because of a friend of mine who invited me, who's actually sacrificed time and energy and money to be there, and also for people like I already mentioned, like Janet Porter. But as I was there, I saw 50 to 60, probably around 60 people gathered to pray. And as I looked at that, God started convicting my heart about what the prayer should be for and who they should be for. And in Galatians 2:19 and 20, it says, "For through the law I died to the law so that I might live to God. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me." And what I want to concentrate on, it says, "But Christ who lives in me." So it's Christ who lives inside of me. And as I was thinking about the prayer that we were lifting up so that the legislators could actually pass this bill, God convicted me to say, where's the church? This is a prayer meeting. This is a place for people to get together to actually pray to God so that something that's an abomination in his sight ends. It says in Leviticus 20, it says, "Say to the people of Israel, any one of the people of Israel or the strangers who sojourn in Israel, who gives any of his children to Molech, who was an idol back then, shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. I myself will set my face against that man and cut him off from among his people, because he has given one of his children to Molech, to make my sanctuary unclean and to profane my holy name." God is saying, he says later that he says, "I am the Lord your God. You don't profane my holy name, and you're offering your children to Molech, who is an idol." And we may be thinking, yeah, but we're not really sacrificing children to idols today. But as I was sitting there and thinking about what we were doing, it's like we are sacrificing the unborn babies to our convenience, to the rights of people, to the rights of women, to our selfishness and convenience and comfort. And isn't that an idol? We're placing our rights, our convenience, our comforts ahead of God. And that is the definition of an idol. And we're killing unborn babies for it. And it goes on to say in verses 4 and 5 of Leviticus 20, "And if the people of the land do at all close their eyes to that," if you close your eyes to the person who's doing this, who gives his children to Molech, who sacrifices babies to an idol, and don't put him to death, then I will set my face against that man and against his clan and cut them off from among their people, him and all who follow him, in whoring after Molech. God takes it seriously, and he says, if the people close their eyes, I'm going to cut myself off from them. I'm going to cut them off from the people. And I wonder what happens when God looks down and sees the church. And do we have the heart of Jesus Christ? Do we really have Jesus Christ living inside of us? Or is he inactive? What is the cost of idleness? And Jesus, when he walked this earth, was never inactive. He was never idle. He is never idle today, sitting at the right hand of God. He is interceding for us. And his Spirit is inside of us. And he wants us to walk after the Spirit. It goes on and says in Galatians 5:17, "The desires of the flesh are against the Spirit, and the desires of the Spirit against the flesh. These are opposed to each other to keep you from doing the things you want to do." And as I was thinking about that, how often do we give in to the desires of the flesh so that we don't do the things we want to do for God? And I know as I think about the heartbeat bill and I think about this appeal to heaven, I know that we can't all put the time in that the organizers put in. I know that we can't all have the same passions and desires, because God's placed different passions and desires in us for different causes. But we know that God opposes that, and really, the church can't take an hour or two out of one day to get together. What if instead of 60 people there would have been the whole lawn, the whole State House lawn with 1,000 or more people there? What impact could that have made for Jesus Christ? What if the church would have come out and think of all the churches there are within an hour radius of Columbus? I mean, there must be thousands of them. And we couldn't get more than 60 people there. And I'm not blaming anyone, even myself. I could have done more. I mean, I put something out on our communication link for the church. But what did I really do? Did I bother to make any calls to the legislators? You know, what are we doing for the people who can't speak up for themselves? Galatians 6, Paul talks about that he boasts only in the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ, for which the world has been crucified to me and I to the world. And he says, and all who walk by this rule, peace and mercy be upon them. You know, if we want God's peace and mercy upon us, even on us as a church, we need to walk with Jesus Christ and stay in step with the Spirit. And so the bottom line is this. We may have Christ in us, but is he living? Is he active? Or is he idle? And are we giving in to our fleshly desires and passions? We really need Jesus being active, living, with a burning passion for Jesus Christ, controlling and ruling our lives. And I pray to God for the church, for myself, that we would indeed have a living and active Jesus Christ inside of us. Thank you, and I'll see you next time on The Bottom Line.